I have to say, Sahar, it's a long time to wait to tell you how beautiful that was. It was just stunning. I mean, the
Oh,
vocal colors that you got and the breadth of phrasing, it was just I just loved it. It was beautiful. It's just beautiful. Um, I'd like to ask you first of all,
sure.
how did you come up with a title for this program?
Uh, well, yeah, I mentioned it briefly to Lara, um, because I said, well, some of these songs have some love in them, some have loss, and some have light, but they're not and um, all entirely sad.
Mhm.
And so we were talking, and we said, well, oftentimes love and light come after loss. They emerge from loss, and so that's what made the title make sense. So um, yeah,
I
so that's
like that a lot.
yeah.
Do you think that this program, the songs that you chose are reflective of this particular time and place? You know, always questioning ourselves of what we do is relevant or not. You know, that question keeps coming up. Um, so what do you think about that?
It's relevant. You mean to right now?
Yeah, to this moment. Yeah.
Yes, I think so. And at the time, I mean, to back up a little bit, at the time when I proposed this program and I spoke with Michael Rupert um, about it, um, um, I said, at that time we were kind of in the depths of the pandemic, and we had all lost dear ones, and the world had lost so much. Um, but we kept going on so we could have hope. And so that was one of the things that made me reflect on these texts as I looked into them. But I do think that now that we're kind of not in so much of the depths of the pandemic anymore, I do think that we can reflect on what we have now and or not have and be appreciative or um, just like um, ich bin der Welt abhanden gekommen. Being also speaking as an artist, I know Lara and I had some conversations about this when we were rehearsing, and I said to her, I said that I wish we could rehearse all the time. Of course, we can't do that, but because we don't have that kind of time. But I said it's hard for us as uh, musicians, but also even more as singers, that we are isolated in our work. A lot of our work is by ourselves. And especially that we have text to learn and to translate and to internalize and go back and forth between both languages. So I feel like there's isolation there for sure, as Ruckert says about um, an artist. And I also think that coming out of the pandemic, something like Liebst du um Schönheit, I think we learn to appreciate that, it's not going to be about money. It's not going to be about possessions. It's just about having our loved ones around us, hopefully, and having our health. But I also think definitely Mitternacht, that's one where that was also one of the harder pieces in this program to put together. Um, but it's I think there was a lot of isolation. I know there was a lot of isolation during the pandemic, and those who were able to get through it, and most of us helped each other get through it. In the end, we had that notion of hope or perseverance, or we're going to keep going. At least that's for that set for the Rukert leader. Um, um, I
No,
do, yeah.
I like that a lot. Dorothy says the artists feed off the energy of the audience, and I think that's what's hard about this particular format is you can't tell how much we're loving it. You know, you don't get that immediate feedback. I don't want to hog this discussion. If there are people who have questions they want to put in the chat.
Well, thank
Oh,
you.
here's one. Do you hear
Yeah.
see this one, Sahar? I'm a fan of art songs
Oh,
as well. Do you have a preference? Yeah, that's a good question.
songs as well as opera. Well, it depends. It depends on what opera, what opera. Um, I think I've gotten choosier about what opera I might like to sing in. uh, but I think there's something very different in art song that it's also more difficult, I think, because it's just us and it's a singer and pianist. It's the duo, and it's that small, intimate format, and there's just nothing really between us and the audience. We don't have costumes, we don't have staging, we don't have you know a grand sets, and so this is it. Um, so it's a different medium. Um, and I see something here. So yeah, do I prefer? Um, I think as I go on longer and longer doing this as a singer, maybe I lean more towards art songs. Yeah, I
There's
think.
another question if there's a different technique in singing opera versus art song.
Uh, I think I kind of used to think that more, but I think that we still have to have the same basics of our singing and strength in our technique and vocalism, and then the difference comes in the interpretation and the intimacy level. As far as art song is concerned and opera is concerned.
Yeah,
Um,
because we get to be more intimate singing
yeah,
art song. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So sure, if you're singing something very powerful in opera, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's different because there are very loud songs that Schubert wrote and Brahms wrote, and here Korngold wrote, and require, what one might call an operatic type of um, delivery. Yeah.
There's a really good question here about, did one of these pieces in particular inspire the rest of the program? Were there any you wanted to include but had to cut?
Uh,
I
that's
think you had to work cut out for you, actually.
Yeah, yeah, we did. Thank you,
Yeah.
Steph. That's a good question. Um, we did have our work cut out for us. When I put this program together, I thought, oh, well, I have enough music. And we were, I kind of thought, wow, but these are 10 songs. Okay. They might not seem like 10 is not that many for a recital, but they really were so varied, but each one of them very demanding. Um, I did not have to cut anything. This is what I chose. I had originally was thinking about doing a different Mahler cycle, the songs of the Wayfarer, uh, but I changed my mind because I wanted to go more with that idea of love and light, kind of coming out of loss, and but they're about the same length, so I did not cut anything out. Sometimes I thought maybe I should, but it's 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 um it's a straight through. It's about 40 to 45 minutes of music. Yeah.
Yeah, I just love the Mahler. Those I know well because I've performed them, but and I thought Ich bin der Welt was just stunning. I mean, the kind of orchestral playing that Laura does so well, and that
Yeah.
was just so effective.
Yeah.
But I got to ask you about the Korngold because
Okay.
I thought they were really captivating, and he actually went to Hollywood, right? He wrote film scores
Yes.
in Hollywood.
He That's
But
right. He eventually went and he was a film writer. I don't think he was so happy in the end about
yeah,
life, but from what the little bit I've been able to read about him, yeah.
because I was thinking that it owes something to Mahler. It also, I think, owed something to Berg, like the early
Yes.
songs of Berg,
Yes. Yes.
and there's things that I was trying to decide of things that sounded cinematic, and I think there were actually
Yes.
in the especially in the last two.
Yes.
Um,
Especially the last one too, more specifically
yeah,
the
yeah,
last one.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, let's see, what other great questions? Oh, is there an art song composer whose work is in general more challenging to sing?
Yeah. Oh, well, I I can't think, to be honest, that one is more challenging than the other. I think they are each challenging in their own way. Um, Thinking of composers in particular who liked mezzo sopranos like Mahler or Brahms, I think their music is very challenging for me. I love it. It's very warm and heartfelt, and the texts are usually just amazing, but technically really demanding. One thing that's hard about Mahler, uh, as Laura and I were discussing, is that it's very, very exposed because he takes, as I mentioned in the little intros, he takes these simple melodies, they're almost folk like, um, and he just sets them just in such a profound way, but it's really exposed, which makes it, that is very demanding technically and challenging, in addition to having to deliver the text and be convincing with it. So I can't say that one is more challenging than the other. They're all just have their own challenges, and it's challenging for me. I have to,
Yeah, no, well, I remember you
but
told
it's
me
a
that
good
these were
question.
hard songs, and I agree. They're really difficult songs of Korngold, I thought. Beautiful. Oh, it's a great comment here. Dorothy says Korngold used leitmotifs in his film scores. I didn't know that. That's very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
that's true. Yeah, and also it makes me think of another composer, film composer, Bernard Herrmann,
Hmm.
who did a lot of Hitchcock movies, and also Minnesota Opera had done the opera Wuthering Heights, and it's very expansive also, um,
Hmm.
kind of similar in its own way to Korngold, and he used a lot of the kind of motifs in that as well. Yeah.
And Sharon wants to know when and where you're performing again.
Hi, Sharon. Well, uh, I'll be performing with Lady Slipper Ensemble, and that will be on June 12th at the Metronome in Lower Town, St. Paul. And actually, Lara and I will be performing the Korngold songs, and the rest of the group will be performing uh, Gabrielle Fauré's second piano trio. So it's going to be a really nice program. And it's actually going to be a fundraiser for the Gnome part of Metronome. And the Gnome is nurturing outstanding music education. And so the proceeds from the concert will be going to help underserved schools that don't have a
So
lot of,
terrific. Your mission is so terrific.
yeah, access to music.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to look to see if there are any more. Did I ask everything I was going to ask? Let's
I
see.
think that did I finish answering Steph's question? Did one piece inspire the other? I know I
Oh,
answered
that's
Steph.
correct.
If
Sorry.
I didn't cut anything, but I I know when I talked with Michael when he was still with us, he said he loved the idea of this program because, um, well, Mahler was liked Wagner's music and was influenced by Wagner's music, and Korngold was influenced by Mahler. And I think that actually the three of them have a lot of similarities in their music. So I think um, it just is kind of maybe a chicken and the egg kind of thing. They one kind of came out of the other. So
There's a question about the location of that Lady Slipper. That Metronome Brewery is near CHS Field in Lower Town, St. Paul.
yes,
Someone
and
asked about that.
we will be putting our website. It will be on my website as well. But our website is ladyslipperensemble.org. One word. It's all one word, and we should have the details there um, soon. But it will be a 7 o'clock show. It's a Monday night, but it's a night where there isn't a baseball game. We checked on that schedule so that if you all want to come to the concert, you can actually park.
Not a small detail.
No.
I guess this is a question for the audience members. If
Okay.
you have ideas about types of programming you would like to hear in future Richard Wagner Society concerts, if anybody has um, ideas or kinds of music that they'd like to hear, put that in the chat as well.
Yeah.
But this was a treat. It's really a treat.
Thank you. And Thank you for your kind words and for everyone who's here tonight. And I know that the program will stay up on the Wagner Society's YouTube channel
Lovely.
at that link. So um, for
Tell your
those,
friends.
yeah, who registered and would like to hear later, you can listen to it at your leisure, take breaks, make your own intermission.
I'd like to thank you for this beautiful program and
Thank you.
thank the Richard Wagner Society for um, not only their support of the music of Richard Wagner, but of artists.
Yes.
I really want to make a sincere thank you to them for their support of artists because it means a lot.
It does, and I want thank you, Laura. Appreciate you being here, and thank you, Jerry, and Jim, and Pat, and Laura. And yes, and this I'm so grateful for this grant because um, it really gave me something to work on during the pandemic and have something to look forward to. And so I was really lucky to have that, and it gave me a chance to work on, especially the Mahler, which I've known for a long time, but I have never sung, and I
Mhm.
have dreamt of singing the Mahler for so long. So you made my dream come true on that one, and then gave me an opportunity to explore some music that I did not know, and like the Korngold, and also to sing my first Wagner song. So, and actually, I would have to say, surprisingly, I was nervous to sing Wagner, but actually, that was my favorite song to work on in the whole program.
So
So
satisfying, right?
it it really is. It's just
So
very
satisfying.
broad, and you gave me a lot of chances to do several things all at once.
Oh, lovely.
Thank you, Stephanie. Miss you, and hope to see you soon.
Well, I think that there don't seem to be any more questions. So uh, thanks everyone for attending and thanks for the lovely concert. It was such a treat.
Thank you. It was a treat to share it with you.
Bye for now.
Bye bye.